Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be uncovering another mystery. This time, it's the location of where Arthur's son and his son's mother are buried. Can we find this location in Red Dead Redemption 2? And are there any hints throughout the world that might tell us where that is? So this is sort of going to be building off of a video I did maybe a month ago, The Secret Life of Arthur Morgan, where we talked about some of the details of his past, his family, his son, everything like that. And we'll be building off of that today. Now, in order to start this, you need to begin in a mission called Archaeology for Beginners, which is kind of optional. You get this mission if you choose to help Rains fall. So if you don't help him, you won't get this mission. And Arthur will eventually start talking about his son on the horseback ride he has with Rains Falls. And this is what he begins to say. Take a listen to this.
You know, I had a son once, years ago. Don't talk about him much.
Oh, what was his name?
Isaac. His mother, Eliza, the waitress I met. When she got pregnant, she knew who I was, what my life was. I didn't want to promise nothing I couldn't keep, but I said I'd do right by them. Every few months, I'd stop by there for a few days. He was such a good kid. She was too, I guess. Just a kid, 19.
What happened?
I got there one day and saw two crosses outside. I knew right away. Turned out some bastards had come through. Robbed them. Shot him dead. And offered $10. Hardened me. Feeling that kind of pain.
Wait! Where are you going?
But I know now that you don't get to live a bad life and have good things happen to you.
I think you're being hard on yourself.
Maybe. All I can do now is try and make some things right.
So we got a lot of important details there. Let's sort of break it down. The first of which is that Arthur did have a son. His name was Isaac, and Isaac's mother was a waitress that Arthur met, and her name was Eliza. Now, there doesn't seem to be any romantic relationship between the two, more off like a one-night stand, I would assume. And we do know that Eliza was 19, and that Isaac was probably pretty young. Now, the next thing to note is that they were murdered. So Arthur says that a bunch of guys came through town and ended up robbing them. And while they were robbed, they were both killed, all for $10. And the way he knew about this is that every couple of months he would come back and visit. But one time he came back and he noticed that two crosses were outside of where they lived. And he knew right away what had happened. So ever since this conversation with Rains Falls, I've always wondered, where is Arthur's son and his son's mother, Eliza, buried? Because that's a big part of Red Dead Redemption 2, is when your fellow gang members die, they're buried throughout the game, and you can actually go back and revisit their grave sites. In fact, you actually have to do that in order to get 100% completion of the game. So it's a big part of Red Dead Redemption 2, but we never figure out if Eliza and Isaac are buried somewhere in the game in which we can access. So the reason I think this is interesting is because in one of the official trailers for Red Dead Redemption 2, official trailer number 3, we get a scene that I think is awfully similar to what Arthur just described happened to his son and his son's mother. So this is an official trailer number 3, and it's this scene right here. I'll slow it down multiple times. It only lasts for about a second and a half. You guys can see that Arthur is looking down, looking pretty somber, and you can see there that there are two graves over his right shoulder, sort of buried in a field. And it looks like he's walking away from a house. And that got me thinking, is that the location of where Isaac and Eliza are both buried? That would certainly be interesting. Now, if you guys are wondering where that location is in game, unfortunately, this is not in Red Dead Redemption 2. So it looks as if Rockstar created this for the trailer only, or this is just part of the game that never made its way into the final copy. So that's kind of interesting. And we also get clues from Arthur throughout the game that says that this area, wherever he is not within the Red Dead Redemption 2 map. You'll hear Arthur saying throughout the game, I haven't been this far east in many a years, which implies that he has, and that's where he went to visit Isaac and Eliza, but hasn't been in quite a while, which would obviously make sense if they were both dead. He would have no reason to go back out there. So I don't know where this location is, east, northeast. It's clearly somewhere that's not within Red Dead Redemption 2. So unfortunately, this area cannot be found. And I would say that this is a good sign that this is where Isaac and Eliza are both buried. Now, why am I assuming that these are the graves of Isaac and Eliza? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Arthur is looking mournful. He's walking away from a house with 2 crosses. I don't think it could really be much else. It's not the location of any of the other gang members' graves that we see throughout the game. Now, one thing this could represent is maybe just good honor versus bad honor. We see this theme obviously come up a lot in Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the crosses is kind of nice. Another one is a little bit more like worn down. So maybe this just resembles the honor path that the player could go down in game. But I think it's more than that. I think that these graves are physically for Arthur's son and the mother of his son, Eliza, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. Now, speaking of your honor, if you actually have high honor, towards the end of the game in Chapter 6, you'll actually have a confession with one of the sisters in-game that you run into. And during this cutscene, you'll actually reveal more information about your son, Isaac's mom, and also some more details about Arthur's family. Take a listen to this right here.
What's wrong?
I'm dying, sister.
Okay.
Yeah, I got TB. I got it. Beating a man to death for a few bucks. I've lived a bad life, sister.
We've all lived bad lives, Mr. Morgan. We all sin. But I know you.
You don't know me.
Forgive me, but that's the problem. You don't know you.
What do you mean?
I don't know, but whenever we happen to meet, you're always helping people and smiling.
I had a son. He passed away. I had a girl who loved me. I threw that away. My mama died when I was a kid. And my daddy, well, I watched him die. And it weren't soon enough.
So it really does seem, at least family-wise, Arthur has had a pretty rough go of it. It sounds like he lost his mother at a really young age. His father seemed like to be a degenerate. And obviously he lost his son and the mother of his son at such a young and early age too. So it really does seem as if he has had an ultra tough go of things. Now, if you're interested in more details on Arthur's mother, we can actually just go to the campsite where we can gather a couple of things. So, for example, the first is this flower right here. You might be wondering what this is. Well, that's a flower that Arthur's mother really enjoyed looking at and picking. And you can also see a photo of her right next to that flower as well. And what's also interesting is if you end up playing a game of dominoes with Mary Beth, Arthur will reveal the official reason why he has that flower next to his bed.
So I've been meaning to ask, what's that flower you keep by your bed?
Oh. It's something my ma always liked. It's kind of a good luck charm, I suppose. They only grow out west, in parts of California and Oregon. I always try to grab one when I'm out that way.
That's nice.
I don't remember too much from back then. I was so young when she passed, but I remember that for some reason.
So overall, that right there is some more backstory on the family of Arthur Morgan and also what eventually happened to his son and Eliza. And it looks like that they were buried and that Rockstar showed that off in one of the trailers. But unfortunately, this area of the game does not exist. So I think it's a fair question to ask, could an area like this ever be added into a DLC or an expansion for Red Dead Redemption 2? And the answer is sure, if Rockstar wanted to go that route. We don't really know where this is. It's obviously not in Mexico, which is something that a lot of people indicate could be like a DLC expansion. And that's actually something we're going to be talking about in a future video as well. I have so many things to discuss regarding Red Dead Redemption 2. So I would definitely recommend sticking around on the channel if that's something you're interested in, all the DLC content that could happen for RDR2. But this looks like it's definitely further east, probably more northeast as well, if I had to take a guess. And the reason I'm guessing that is because this looks like it happened a good bit before the start of Red Dead Redemption 2, and we know that the early days of Dutch's gang started in the Illinois, Ohio area, which is kind of in the Midwest, northeastern part of the United States. So that's where I would imagine Isaac and Eliza would be. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about my theory, this discussion, and more. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.